Hello guys, so today guys we have another vlog guys. So today's vlog I'm gonna show you all my 3 best lens from Fujifilm camera. So actually our main camera also always we use is the Fujifilm XS10. So we're recording now in the Fujifilm XS10 and with the 1855 for Brian Puntanar. So ayan. But my lens guys is here. My top 3 lens from Fuji is in my front now. So this is the best Fujifilm that I choose in their lineup guys. So yeah, explain one by one why I pick up these 3 lenses guys. Actually they call Trinity type of lens. You can use also this one in Canon, Sony or whatever camera. So and guys, let's start and I will explain one by one why I pick up these 3 lenses from Fujifilm. So again, for the first lens from my right, we have here the 56 1.2. Yan, ito yung pinaka-latest natin na Fujifilm lens. Yan. 56 1.2 guys is very nice and very useful for portrait photography. Yan, for portrait, napakaangas niya for low light because it's 1.2. So it's the best bokeh. So kung mga gusto niyo bokeh-licious, this is one of the best lens because it's 1.2. And ayan, it's also fast focusing and ayun. Compare for F56 1.2 the other version and 50 1.0. So at least this is more cheaper compared for the two guys. So again, my first lens is 56 1.2. It's very nice lens, prime lens. Again, we have prime lens 56 1.2. It's good for portrait and for your bokeh. And next guys, we have the 1655 zoom lens. Yeah, this is the zoom lens. We have the prime lens and we have the zoom lens. So we have the 1655 lens guys. I select this lens because is the aperture blade guys. The aperture is consistent 2.8. So from 16mm up to 55mm is the aperture is 2.8. Again, so from 16mm up to 55mm is constant 2.8 aperture. So and also I like the sharpness of the lens. So it's very nice and sharp photos that you can take on this 1655 2.8. This is equivalent to a 2470 guys in full frame camera. This is the 2470 mm lens. So yeah, it's very good for your events, wedding, any events guys, any types of events. And also this could be your all-around lens. So if you don't want to bring all your lens, you can use with one lens. So this is the lens that is very versatile. From 16mm wide angle, so you can just take shot with a group of people or a group shot or landscape in 16mm. Then you can zoom to 55mm if you want to take a portrait lens like 55 2.8. So, but you cannot compare for the 56 1.2 because it's the 1.2 aperture blade. So it's more better in low light and more sharper compared to 55mm f2.8. So but it's not bad guys. Still very good lens because it's 2.8. But this is more expensive compared for the prime lens which is the 56. And guys, so again, zoom lens 1655. It's very versatile lens and very useful lens for your wedding events or any events guys. Again, it's a zoom lens. And the last lens that we have guys here is the telephoto lens. Yeah, this is the telephoto lens guys. So again, we have the prime lens 56, we have the zoom lens which is the 1655, and we have the telephoto lens. So it will complete your lineup guys already. It's from Trinity. Yeah, you have prime, zoom and telephoto. So it's up to you guys if you want to make a macro photography. So you need purchase a macro lens, or if you want landscape photography, then you need to have more wider than 16mm, which is 10, 12, 14. Yeah, that range, that focal length. So now we have the telephoto lens, which is the 50 to 140mm 50 to 140mm lens. So this is very useful for wildlife and sports photography. Yan, because it's 140mm with the aperture blade of 2.8 constant guys. Even if you are in the 50mm and zoom to 140mm, the aperture blade will stay 2.8. So you can control from 2.8 F4 to F60 o F32, whatever. Hanggang ano to, I think 22 something. And yan, very useful again. You can use also for portrait. Just zoom into 140mm. Then you have a good effects like similar with this 56 1.2. Again, but it's more bulky and bigger compared for 56 1.2 if you don't want to carry the heavy lens. But it's also very good for portrait lens. Again, this 50 to 140 is equivalent to 70 to 100mm in full frame, 35mm film, or not film, 35mm sensor size or the full frame. So ayan, ito yung 70 to 100 equivalent. 50 to 140mm, ideal for wedding. So if you want to shoot a wedding, this is a must, guys. 50 to 140 because you cannot go near to the subject or the couple. So at least you have for 140 in low light. It's very good and it's very nice. And it's also fast focus. That's why it's also good for wildlife photography and any sports photography. So yan, guys. These are my 3 best lens from Fujifilm camera. So we have the X-T3 and X-S10 and X Pro 2. These 3 lens, pat-pat na lang natin, di ba? So again, the prime lens, which is the 56 1.2, the zoom lens, which is 1655, and the telephoto lens, which is the 50 140. Again, guys, medyo masakit siya sa bulsa, but if you want to have a Trinity lens with a cheaper version, guys, the Fujifilm have also a cheaper version on this Trinity kinds of lens. So for example, 56 1.2, they have also a 50mm f2, which is I think twice cheaper than this lens, guys, around 130 or something. Quite dinar sa peso, hindi ko alam, mga 15,000 pesos, mga ganun. Then also 1655 and Fujifilm, they have also the 1855mm, which is currently using on this film now, guys. This is the 1855mm, but it's not cheap, guys. Even 1855, I think it's around 180 Kuwaiti dinar. So sa peso, medyo 20,000 siguro, may get, mga ganun. So equivalent siya sa 1655. The only difference is, first, this is 2.8 constant. The 1855 is f2.8 up to f5.6 something. Yun lang difference niya, guys. But the build quality, of course, is more bigger compared for that one. But the 1855, guys, from Fuji f2.8 or f4 is one of the best lens, one of the best kit lens, yeah, in the market. So compared for all the crop sensor lens, this is the one of the best lens from Fuji, the 1855 kit lens. So again, we have the 50 140. You can purchase also, guys, the 70 to 300mm from Fujifilm. So if you want a cheaper version telephoto lens with the same, almost same focal length, it's more higher, guys, because 300mm equivalent. So the 70 300mm to get 50 140. So instead, if you don't have a budget for 50 140, you can go to 70 to 300mm lens, guys. So I guess at least you complete also your Trinity lens from Fujifilm. So again, guys, ayun, just recap again. We have 3 Trinity lens. First, the prime lens, which is the 56 1.2. Ito siya, guys. Next is the zoom lens, with standard zoom lens again, which is the 1655 f2.8. And the last one, which is telephoto lens, the 50 140. Yan, guys. So I think that's it for today. Flex time. Flex ko lang yung setup na ginawa ni Brian. Ang lupit, di ba? So ito, may ano na tayo, may stand tayo rito. Hindi ko makita natingan pero pakita ko one day. Ayan, so napaka minimal lang setup namin. Ang microphone, siyempre nasa taas. Ayan, guys. Thank you kay Brian Puntanar. Lens niya itong ginamit natin, siyempre. Kay Palaboy FW sa PBK 2.0 na hindi pa kami nakapag-upload. One day mag-upload kami dyan. So again, thank you and mabuhay.